Welcome to Visual Basic. We're going to put together project 2.1, as you can see over here on the right side of the screen. But this will be the first video project. You'll see a video each chapter. You're going to be required to recreate this. There may be some differences in what we do, particularly the images that we use for our light bulbs on and off. We'll end up finding those on the internet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about how we start up a new project. And it's pretty darn important that we do this part correctly. So I'm going to go to File, New. I want Project. For a Visual Basic file, you might call it that. It's really multiple files that go into that. So we want the full project, not just a particular file. So we've got this. I believe the student version is going to come up and try to trick you into being in Visual C#. I'm going to go to Visual Basic, and for the purpose of this course, we will probably not use anything other than just Windows Form app. I wish it was the default. And here's the biggie. A lot of people now are so used to just rushing to that. Okay, we have to browse this into our correct folder. So I'm going to go browse. I'm going to go to my particular page. I've got a VB 2019 right here, and I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it Chapter 2. You should already have a Chapter 2 folder. I didn't, so I'm going to select that folder, select, and now I'm going to give it an appropriate name, and the name I would like you to use for this would be 2.1. You can add more to it, but I want to see 2.1 in that position. And you'll notice that also changes our solution name simultaneously. All right, so double check, Visual Basic, Windows Form, directed where I want it to go into my iDrive. If you don't do that, you're going to lose a whole day's work. Name it something appropriate, and okay, and let's get into the environment here. And normally I'd have a full screen open, but I want you to be able to see the directions for 2.1, but I think I have plenty of room here. So here's our form. We've talked about those for our Chapter 1 programs. I always have my toolbox pinned. I'm going to be in good habits, so the very first thing I'm going to do every time I start a program is I'm going to select this form, and I'm going to go to its, and you'll notice you may use categorized. Like, here's all the things we can do to the appearance, and some people like that, and I like alphabetical. I'm going to go to its text, and I'm just going to go 2.1 by Mr. Hearn. And I request and actually require that you do that on yours. And to be perfectly honest, one of the reasons I do it is so when I come up behind you, I know your name, because for the most part in this course, just see the back of your heads. Also, when I come in and check these, I go through the iDrives, and I should know whose iDrive I'm in, but I go through a lot of them and I kind of forget. It's nice to have the reminder whose program this is. Okay, so we're going to create a project that will switch a light bulb on and off. It won't really do that. It's going to be based on two different pictures, a light bulb on, light bulb off. I've got different ones than this that I'm going to try to use. Using the user interface shown below as a guide. So we're going to create a form like this one. And it tells us what we're going to include, but I'm just going to start going through. I guess we'll read this. It's first time through for you guys. Include a text box for the user to enter his or her name. So text box is a normal one. I'm going to kind of try to set mine up, and it might be tough to see on the video, but right here, I think it says Denny or Danny. It's kind of a fuzzy picture. So that's where the name went. And I expect I will probably be using that in code, so I'm going to give it a proper name. I'm going to call it lowercase txt, capital name, as we have been talking about with our proper naming conventions. TXT would reference the text box. Okay, and next to that, they have, it just says name here, and I suspect that's a label. So I'm going to put a label here. It's just prompting the user to go ahead and put their name in this text box. So I'm just going to, go ahead and change this label's text from label 1 to name. And you can probably see that I'm not going to adjust fonts here, but but you ought to be able to see its name. The user gets in here. If I run this, not much to do right now, but I can see that, okay, name, I can't affect it, but I can come in here, I could type Bob, whatever. So that's what we've got so far. Now, you may realize, you may be aware, I did not give this, like, I could call this LBL name, but I do not anticipate referring to it in code. So it's just a label. Once it's there, I'm done with it. Okay. So text box for the user to enter his or her name, create 2 picture boxes, one on top of the other. Okay, so picture boxes. I'm actually not going to overlap those right now. So here's a picture box. Don't know how big I want it to be. They're ultimately going to overlap, but I'm going to have them separate right now. Control C, Control V, there's a separate picture box. All right, create 2 picture boxes, one on top of the other. Only one will be visible at a time. Visible, that's a big hint. Use radio buttons to select the color of the text in the label beneath the light bulb picture box. So I need a label beneath here. And one more time. Use radio buttons to select the color of the text in this. So we're going to be using this label. We're going to be changing its text color apparently. So I'm going to give this a good name. Let's call LBL. What does it say here? Only one label beneath. So I'm just going to go LBL. Well, it looks like right now, underneath in that label, they've got turn the light on or turn the light off. I'm just going to call it LBL message. LBL message. And I don't know what to put in there at this time right now. So for text, I could leave it labeled too, but a lot of times I'll just put ... We're going to do something with that later. I can see where it's at. Okay. Use radio buttons. So we've got some radio buttons right here, black, blue, red, green, and those are actually what's called a group box. So I'm going to put a group box on here. That would be a container. Group box, I don't need too much width for it. That group box, I'm going to change its text property, because right now it says group box 1 to, looks like they have choose a color. If they went to the work of putting this together for me, I'm going to take advantage of it. Choose a color, and you'll see that changed. I need 4 radio buttons. That's a button, but I need radio buttons. I will just go Control C, Control V, 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 and we'll just space those out. And this one, I'm going to do exactly what they did here. It looks like we started off with black, so I will call this radio button. The 3-letter convention for radio button is lowercase RAD. I'm going to go black, and I'm going to change its text. Not that, but it's text. So I go alphabetical from radio button 1 to black. I see there's a little underline there. We'll talk about that later. That B is underlined, but we'll get to that shortly. So here we've got, let's change this text to blue. Give this a good name, because I'm definitely going to refer to a button in code. RAD blue. Let's go RAD. Looks like they've got red next. Red next. RAD red. Change its text to plain old red. And what do we have left? Green. Change this text to green, and its name of the button that we're going to use in code to RAD green. Okay. There's a big part of me that wants to handle this right now, so I'm actually going to put a message in this label underneath. This is my LBL message, as you recall. I'm actually going to put just a note to myself now. Let's try the colors. So it's going to say that it's in black, and I want to be able to, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so I know it stands out for you. So I'm going to go to its font. And let's see, we're at 8. I'm just going to go 14 with this message. That may be a little overkill, but clearly we can see it's in a black font right now. So let's just handle that one at this time. So I need, when I run this program, you're going to notice none of these are selected. When you run it, the black one might be selected, but I'm going to put in the code for black and blue and see if this works out for us. This is new code that we haven't used before. So I double click there. I go to my form. I'm in my good habits now, so I might as well get this taken care of. Apostrophe Mr. Hearn, apostrophe, let's say I created this July 5, 2019, and this is apostrophe 2.1. Those are my remarks that we hopefully have talked about in class by now. Okay, when I click radio button black, I want my LBL messages 4-color. Watch this. 4-color. Right now it's black, and now I'm going to make it blue. See, the 4-color is actually the font of it, the font color. So it'll start this way. So I'm going to, I'll click blue, I'll do blue first. So I'm going to go LBL message, start typing it. It prompts you, you can hit tab, dot. What I want to change about it is the 4-color, and I'm going to go equals VB dot, or VB color, or is it just, you know what, they've changed things on me. Now I'm just guessing, color dot red. Used to be VB color dot red. Okay, but I don't want red here, of course. I want blue, and it prompts me for that. Okay, so let's run this and let's see if radio button blue is doing its job, and if so, we can handle all the rest of them. I click this, sure enough, there's blue. This isn't going to do anything yet, we don't have code. So I'm going to just steal for myself. On the black radio button, I want color black. I expect there to be a black. And then let's create the subroutines for red. And let's create the subroutines from green. I'm going to control V, color dot red, and color dot green. And I like to check things as we're going along. I expect we're good, but let's take a look. And it looks like we're in order, and you can get creative with the colors as much as you like. So far, so good, other than a little hiccup because they've changed some coding on me. All right, so use radio buttons to select the color of the text in the label beneath the light bulb picture. So I need to get these light bulbs populated with my pictures, so I think down the road, I don't think they talk about that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got a couple pictures that I saved on my desktop. They could have been in a file folder in Visual Basic. So I'm going to put those, bring those into my project. So project, properties, you'll do this a lot and it'll become second nature to you. Resources, typically the resource we're most likely to, I wish it was the default, to add in would be an image. And it's really tempting to go, it didn't really take image. Let's go images again, add resource. Oh, new image. It's tempting to do this, but we're going to add an existing file. I've already saved this thing. And I've got this on the desktop. Let's see what's on my desktop here. I've got some other things here that are of very little use to you, semester 2 review key. But I want these guys, so I'm going to select both of those. You can do that with Shift or with Control. And I'm going to open them. One called bulb off, one called bulb on. I named them that. I will tell you, this would have a problem in a resource. It doesn't like characters like periods. It doesn't really, it's not crazy about spaces. We want really simple one-word names, even if the one word is 2 words. Make it really simple. Also, pictures should typically be PNGs or JPEGs. You can also use GIFs, which GIFs, I think it's GIFs. So I'm going to open those. Notice they're now in here. They're also over here, which is a good sign for me. So I'm going to go back to my form design, and I'm going to let this first one, there's all sorts of properties for that picture box. I'm going to call this one PIC bulb on. And I'm going to name this one, of course, then PIC bulb, or light, could be light on, bulb off. And so for this one, my bulb on, there's all sorts of properties, and I could set the image here. I could search the image out in my resources, but I can also do this. I can go right in here and it just says choose an image. It's two very, very common things to do, is choose an image and change the size mode. So choose an image. I want bulb on. There it is. I click OK, and I realize that's a problem. So size mode, stretch image. I didn't want auto size. I want stretch image. Stretch image. And there it is, and I can play around with that. I can widen it, narrow it. And then here, I'm going to go choose an image, bulb off, okay, and I will use stretch image. Use those a lot. And hopefully they line up fairly well. I haven't really tested this yet. We'll see if the bulb jumps, but we're going to ideally have this on. We're going to click, and it's going to look like the bulb turned on, if I can get those fairly well to overlap. There might be a little bit of a physical jump that it looks like it moves one way or the other, but I think it's close. All righty. I think for my program, I'm going to start with this bulb on and this bulb not visible. So I'm going to set it to visible false. Now I can still see it here, but when I run the program, I only get to see this one. Now the theory is I'm going to click on this, and then this one's going to show. Or I'm going to click on the other one, and this is going to show. And then when we overlap them, it'll be like a special effect. So let's give that a shot. So if I double click on this light bulb, it actually can act like a button. I double click on this one. This is bulb off. And what I want to do if I click on bulb off is I want pick bulb off dot visible. I want the picture I'm on to be equal to false. So it's not visible, and I want pick bulb ons dot visible property to be true. And let's go ahead while we're here. Let's go ahead and take care of the reverse of that. If I click on bulb on, I want bulb off visible to be true, and bulb on to be false. And let's see if that works, and then we'll overlap them and see how our special effect goes. Click this. Oh, good. Got it. So let's go back here. Let's overlap them and give this a shot. I had them set at the same size. Click it. It jumps a little bit. I'm going to live with it. You could do some editing on the pictures, but I notice it kind of jumps up a little bit, but pretty darn good. So I may leave them unoverlapped right now. In fact, I could give this a shot, but I don't think it's going to work. I know this one has to move up and just a tiny bit to the right. I think that's going to be too much. I'm just playing now, as you can tell. Ooh, that's pretty good. That was worth it. Pretty darn close. Moves up a little bit. Anyway, you can play around with that. Let's get back over here and see what we got. Use radio buttons to select the color of the text. We've got it. Beneath the light bulb picture. Include keyboard access for the radio button. So if I hit black, maybe I want to have, maybe if I hit B, maybe I want it to be black. I'll use L for blue, R, and G. So here's what we're going to do. Keyboard access. On most of your quizzes, you're going to be asked to do this. It's just a nice, thoughtful thing for the user. So on black, instead of having its name be black, I'm going to go ampersand B. And if you notice, that puts a little underline under the black. On blue, I can't use B again, so I'm going to go ampersand between the B and the L. and L should turn it blue, and red, I can use R, ampersand, and G, I can use G, ampersand, and let's see that. You'll see that I'm going to be able to change those colors without my mouse moving. So we start off, we're in black. I'm going to go L for blue. And, oh, you know what? Problem is that the focus is set up here right now. If I click here, the focus set here is going to be a little bit problematic for us. We're going to come back and deal with that a little bit later because it's going to try to put the L's and B's. Maybe if I click over here, focus isn't there anymore. Now I think I can. L, there we go. R, G, and B. So once I'm up here, if I try to hit B, it's thinking I want to put my name in. So there are some little challenges there, but so far, so good. Include keyboard access keys for the radio buttons and the buttons. What other button do I have? Oh, print we're not going to use. Exit we're going to use. So let's take care of that. I'm going to move all of these things because they work pretty well together. I'm going to move this stuff. Just kind of get my own design to this. You can play around with that. And then I'm going to put an exit button. Where do I want an exit button? I think I'll put my exit button. There's room for creativity here. I think I'll put my exit button right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and call that BTN exit, of course. That doesn't make it exit, but it's proper naming convention. Give it a text property of exit. I'm going to make it E ampersand X. Now I'll tell you the truth, I'm not a big fan of having shortcut keys for exit because if my name's Xavier and I try to type that in and the focus isn't here, it's going to close the program. But we'll live with it. So we got that. Double click here. The command to exit is just N. And let's see what we got there. I can either hit exit, it's gone, or on 3 I'm going to hit X. 1, 2, 3. But if I hit X, it's going to go in name. But after I've done this, now X on 3. 1, 2, 3. We exit the program. All right, so far so good. Make the exit button and the cancel button. Make the exit button the cancel button. Good. Create tooltips for both light bulbs. Okay, so a tooltip is used. Here's an example of a tooltip. I'm going to float right up here, and that undo that popped underneath there, that's a tooltip. If I select this picture, you will note alphabetically it does not have a tooltip property down here. QRST, nope. But if I put tooltip, and you only need one tooltip per form, there may be cases where you'd want more, but it's hard for me to even come up with that. Now I click on this picture, and I see that tooltip is available, and that's the off button. So I'm just going to type turn light on. And then for this other one, and if it was stacked and I couldn't get to it, I could always get there this way. I could go bulb on, and now for it has a tooltip property too. Now also I'm going to go turn light off. I don't know if I capitalized on the other, but I'm going to live with it for right now. So let's take a look at that. I run this. I float over. It says turn light on. I click it. Turn light off without spacing. Bad me. That thing seems to be working. All right. Click here to turn the light on or off. Got it. Project operation. The user will enter a name. That's what I've been waiting for. And click a radio button for a color. When the light bulb is clicked, display the other picture box and change the message below it. Concatenate, good word, the username into the message. So I'm going to just say the light is on and the light is off. So when my program starts, I want to be in sync. My message, my LBL message, the light bulb is off. So I'm going to just start this as saying the light is on. And then when I click this button, when I click this picture, which is acting like a button, this should turn into, I want that, I want it off. What am I? Oh no, it starts on, doesn't it? Help me, quick. It starts, nope, it starts off. Go figure. So I'm going to change this to off. Now, when I click this button, right here, I'm going to say my LBL message needs to be changed to, so it's text, needs to be changed to the light is on. And likewise, when I click the on one, the on button becomes invisible. I'm going to say the light is off. Let's see how that's working. Light is off. Yes, it is. The light is on. The light is off. We got a lot going on. When the light bulb is clicked, display the other picture and change the message below it. Concatenate the user's name. So now what I want is, if I put Bob up here, I want this to say either Bob, the light is on, or the light is on, Bob. I'm going to have it say the light is on, Bob. So this is going to be sneaky. So this is concatenating. My LBL text message is going to, I'm going to go through the on, put a comma, put a space, put more quotation marks here. Actually, where those quotation spaces are, yeah, I'm going to put end quotes, space, I'm going to put an ampersand. And I know I got a lot of red here. Here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go txt name.text. So that would be Bob in this case. And then I'm going to put my exclamation points at the end of that. So it's going to say the light is on. It's going to grab the text out of the text box and add that here. And your program 2.3 is going to do basically the same thing. So I'm going to just Control C here, and I'm going to go right back to here, Control V, and I think I got it. Start. Now the big issue here is if I don't put a name, it's just going to be weird. But if I do this, it's got the comma, it's got this. But if I put a name in there, Samantha, and I click this, light is off, Samantha. Now if you note, there probably could have been another space after this comma. So let's see, did I put a space in front of it? Backspace. I'm going to put a space right here, an extra space, so Samantha doesn't butt right up against it. Start this. Timothy. And I think I am in good shape here. When the light bulb is clicked, display the other picture box and change the message below it. Concatenate the username to end the message. Did. C note top experience file folders coding in the click event. I think we got it. And there is our 2.1. You're responsible for recreating this program. More importantly, you're responsible for understanding it, because the skills that are illustrated in here should get you through 2.1 and 2.2. Although there may be some little sneakiness in 2.2 with a flag viewer program. As always, every program is going to be a little bit different. I expect questions, but some of those questions, if I get, I'm going to say, hey, we did this in the tutorial program. So there you have it. As always, ask questions. Good luck. Like I should say, if you're going to save all. Now, however, every time you run the program successfully, it does save. So with that, best wishes, good luck, ask questions.